Good morning, children. So today we are going to finish the part of nutrition. We have studied there are four type of life processes. Four life processes are there. Out of that, first one is nutrition, second respiration, then transport and excretion. So today I am going to finish the nutrition part, and then we'll also do the questions from the book so far, whatever part we have studied from that. Okay, so let us see. So we have finished till small intestine, and in the small intestine we have studied that the digestion is completed, and the five type of nutrients, that is the protein digest into amino acid, carbohydrate digest into simple sugars, fat digest into fatty acid and glycerol, and DNA and RNA both are digested into simple sugar pentose, deoxyribose or ribose sugars, and what do you call five different type of nitrogen bases are there: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine, and uracil, and the last, that is phosphate. So these are the final products. Vitamins, minerals, and water need not to be digested. Okay, so now in the intestine only digested nutrients are there. Then the next step was absorption. Absorption, I said, was done by finger-like projections which are found in the entire length of the small intestine, and there increases surface area of intestine to several hundred to thousand times. So that is a help in the absorption, and absorption, as you know, I already discussed, that is it is a passive process first till the concentration equalizes. Once the concentration in the blood vessels and the outside, that is in the intestinal lumen, become equal, then remaining nutrients are absorbed by what you call active absorption, in which the ATP is being spent. Now the last part is, that is, what will happen to the undigested substance. There are a lot of substances which remain undigested, which are not being taken into the body. They may be roughage, they may be those parts of the food that is not being digested, because either they are very hard, or the time or the length of the intestine was not sufficient for them to complete the process of digestion. There may be some reason or other, and even sometimes the food is being digested but it is not been absorbed. So all that remain part of the unabsorbed and undigested part will pass to the large intestine. At the junction of the large intestine and small intestine, there is a small extension that is called vermiform appendix. However, in human being, there is no use of the vermiform appendix. But in the lower organ from whom we have been um, developed, those who are eating grass and they were eating vegetation mainly. So for them, there was the need of some kind of bacteria which used to digest their food. For them, it was useful, and since it is in the developmental process, there are several things have been developed from the simple to complexity. And there are some of the products, some of the things which were present in our ancestor, but it is not completely removed. Okay, because that will study in evolution chapter. That is how the things have been evolved, how the things changes, how a new character develop, and how certain character become weak and poor and become functionless. Let us now talk about large intestine. Okay, so large intestine is actually around 1.5 meter long, and it is a meter, I said. Okay, and it is further divided into three parts. There is an ascending colon, there is a transverse colon, and there is a descending colon. Okay, ascending colon, transverse colon, and descending colon, and finally it opens into rectum. So this is large intestine. It is much thicker in compared to that of the small intestine, which is thin. Large intestine actually stores all the undigested food which is not been digested or which is not been absorbed. जो बेकार रह गए हैं, that is now they have to be discarded out. ठीक है? Large intestine serves four important functions. Four important functions. First of all, it stores all those undigested parts which are not been absorbed or not been digested. So that will be periodically pushed by the peristaltic movement, and finally they landed into large intestine. Second and the most important function of large intestine is that it reabsorbs water content from the digested food. There was no water absorbed in the other parts. Of course, some amount of water will definitely be absorbed by a passive process, but mainly water is absorbed from there. Now, where the water has come, we may be drinking water. That all ultimately goes into the intestine, and ultimately it will reach to the large intestine. Okay, except the water which is being absorbed from the other parts. Besides that, there is a lot more juices have been added. In mouth, saliva is added. In small, in the stomach, we have studied that is three things were there. That is out of that you can leave the mucus. The remaining two, that is the digestive enzymes and hydrochloric acid, both contain water. Then it goes into the small duodenum where bile juice contain water, pancreatic juice contain water. Further, it goes into the intestine where the intestinal juices are there. All these juices have been continuously added. Sometime when we have loose motions, sometimes when we are having some sort of disease and we motion passes. So we sometimes surprise this much of water I never had how where the water is coming from. So it is the water which we are adding into our food from the various part of the digestive system, from the mouth, from the duodenum, from the small stomach, small intestine, and other parts. So all this water which has been added has to be reabsorbed. If it is not reabsorbed, we know we have studied that if a person is having loose motions or if a person is having diarrhea, after three motions, he may lose that much of water that it may be threatened to the death. Again, it will be life threatening. Why? Because because the water we can bear only up to a 3 to 5% of loss of water. So whatever total amount of water is required, 13% भी चला गया, 4%, 5% चला गया, and after that the survival will become very difficult. And since in the motions, the large intestine is not been able to absorb water, and most of the water is would goes waste. So that how it will be the loss of the water in the body content. So that has to be restored. So large intestine serves the reabsorption of water. Thirdly, large intestine also helps in the absorption of minerals. Okay, there are several million minerals: sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, iodine, the iron. There are so many, and a major part of the minerals are being reabsorbed here. Fourth function, that is the large intestine also produce two important vitamins: K. Vitamin K is actually produced here, and vitamin B is actually produced here. Vitamin B is mainly okay. So vitamin B, जो है, that is which is important for the healthy upkeepment of the digestive system itself, and plus it has got some other functions, that is RBC formation and what do you call for the skin and all. There are so many different functions which you might have studied in the smaller classes, at least in class 9. So those things are there. So all these four functions, that is storage, temporary storage, secondly, the reabsorption of water, thirdly, reabsorption of minerals, and fourthly, that is formation of vitamins. Okay? These all will be done, and then ultimately food will reach to the large rectum. Rectum is the part where the food is being dumped, from where that is undigested food is being dumped. From there it will be going out from time and time again. So in the rectum it will be covered by a thin layer of mucus so that it can be easy. And then time and time again we discard the food out of the anus, that is called egestion. Okay, so that's how the nutrition in human being is completed, and with this the nutrition in all the organisms, that is plant, amoeba, and human, whatever was given in our course, that has been over. So let us now discuss the question and answer of these portions. Okay, so देखते हैं from the NCERT books what questions are given and what are the probable answers. Okay, so this is the NCERT book, chapter 6, life processes, and let us see the questions. Here comes first set of questions. Why is diffusion insufficient to meet oxygen requirement of multicellular organisms like human being? Very good question. Now we have studied that body require oxygen, body require carbon dioxide. This will be taken from the diffusion. Then body also require food. It has to give out waste. And in the lower organism, when I was talking about area volume ratio, I said all these things are actually absorbed by the the surface. But in the complex body like human being, this process of diffusion through the surface is not sufficient. Why? Because our body requires lot more of oxygen. Nowadays, you see the people who are getting their oxygen level from 98, 99, when it goes to the 60, 70 or like 50, 40, 40 आना मतलब गुड बाय होने वाला है ठीक है so that means it has to maintain now where our body requirement is too much oxygen requirement is too much where this oxygen requirement अगर पूरा body से करने जाएंगे तो दो condition है पहली बात तो वो body has to be moistened because dry body से नहीं निकलता oxygen and secondly the surface area is too very less like if I talk about my total body surface area it may be hardly 2 square meters hardly 2 square मतलब it will be less than 2 square meters. Whereas if we talk about the lungs, the surface area of the lungs is about 80 square meters. So 80 square meter कहाँ है और 2 square meter कहाँ है? That is almost 40 to 50 times we have got more surface area. Then also people doesn't get enough of oxygen. They run short of breath and sometimes they die. So we got tremendous bodies, large number of cells, around 300 trillion cells, and all the cells will not get their oxygen supply only from the simple diffusion from the body surface. And that is why we require specialized organs for that. Okay, question number 2. What criteria do we use to decide whether something is alive? The criteria are only 4. That is four what you call life processes are there: nutrition, respiration, transport, and excretion. So if these things are there, then we can say that he is alive. If these are not there, so we have to say that he is no more. Okay. Now let's talk about virus. Lot of things are going about a virus. Now people don't know even what virus are. तो कोई कह रहा है वो बॉडी के बाद जिंदा है बॉडी के बाद मर जाता है this and that and so many talks we are having. Virus actually have only one property of living beings, not life process. One property of living beings. What is that? That is, it is able to multiply. वो एक वायरस एक कॉपी बना सकता है हजारों कॉपी बना सकता है that is what happened when the coronavirus enters in our respiratory tract. It will becoming only one virus but slowly it spread in such a large number that the entire lungs it will contaminate, it will spoil, it will be affecting the lungs and the person's ability of respiration is poorly badly affected, and that is why the person die because of the lack of oxygen. Okay, now virus doesn't have nutrition, virus doesn't have transport, virus doesn't have excretion, virus doesn't have respiration. फिर वो उसको जिंदा क्यों कह रहे हैं? वो जिंदा है ही नहीं. But once it goes into the body of host, suppose coronavirus entered in my body. So what it will do, it will infect the lungs and it will take over all the functions of my cell organelle for its own use. वो मेरे माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया से एटीपी निकाल लेगा. It doesn't have to take respiration. उसमें है ही नहीं कुछ cell organelle. Neither it has got cytoplasm nor it has got mitochondria. तो वो respiration कहाँ करेगा? So it is taking ready-made ATP. It is taking ready-made proteins or amino acids. It is taking. So वो सारी चीजें हमारी body से लेता है. हमारी body को it will control and it will carry all the functions in our body. It is something like that कि कोई वो लफंगे डॉन टाइप के लोग होता है ना जो उठाईगिरी टाइप के जिसको हम कहते हैं वो किसी होटल में घुस जाते हैं और एक लात मारी इधर एक लात मारी उधर उसका बाद बोलते ला रे खाना लेके आ खाए पिए और चले गए. The virus are not more than that. They don't pay. They are simply taking the control on the system and then they are causing damage. वो आया आदमी जो भी गुंडे 1 2 5 10 जितने भी आए आएंगे बैठेंगे तहस नहस करेंगे खूब मन भर के खाएंगे and ultimately they don't pay and even they can cause damage to the hotel. Similarly, viruses are coming in our body. They are taking the control on our body. They are taking our nutrients. They are taking our ATP. They are taking the control on our body cell organelle and they cause damage to the cells and ultimately they go away. So that is the system. Okay? So 4 processes that is nutrition, transport, excretion and respiration are the part. Now, what are the outside material, raw material, which is used by the living organism? We require oxygen, we require food, that is the nutrients, maybe protein, carbohydrate, fat, vitamin, mineral, water for us, and for plant it means sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and प्लांट के लिए दूसरी चीजें होंगी प्लांट के लिए सनलाइट भी जरूरी है या कोई दूसरा सनलाइट एंड दे इवन रिक्वायर वाटर है ना बिसाइड दैट दे रिक्वायर ऑक्सीजन एंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इवन एंड वी डोंट रिक्वायर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड वी हैव टू गिव आउट कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड ठीक है तो दीज आर द थिंग्स व्हिच वी रिक्वायर फ्रॉम आउटसाइड फॉर एनिमल्स इट इज ऑक्सीजन इट इज फूड ठीक है फॉर प्लांट्स इट आर मिनरल्स वाटर सनलाइट कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड ऑक्सीजन फॉर रेस्पिरेशन okay. Question number 4. What process would you consider essential for maintaining life? So, which are the processes? Nutrition, respiration, transport, and excretion. Let's go to the next section. These all we are done. These all activities we are done. Autotrophic nutrition. Amoeba we are done. We are done in the nutrition in human being. And then we are landing into the next set of questions here. Okay, what are the differences between autotrophic and heterotropic nutrition? Autotrophic, where the organisms can prepare food their own, and heterotropic are dependent on other organisms for their food. Question number 2, where do plants get each of their raw material from? They require 4 things, that is carbon dioxide they will take from atmosphere through stomata. They require water they get from, what do you call it, from soil. And if it is aquatic plant, they can even take from surrounding. The third thing is chlorophyll that they got their own, and the fourth one is light. Okay, so these are the 4 things. Out of that, 3 things they require from outside, and the 4th thing that is chlorophyll is they have got their own. Now, what is the role of the acid in our stomach? So I said 4 functions. Very first and very important function, it converts the medium of food to acidic. Second, it converts the inactive protein digesting enzyme into active. Third thing, it kills the germs, and fourth, it also partly digests the food. Question number 4: what is the function of digestive enzymes? So we have studied there are several digestive enzymes. In mouth, ptyalin was there, which is digested starch into maltose. In stomach, it was pepsin, which converted the protein into peptones and peptides. Then we also had amylase, which digested starch into lipase, which digested fats and lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. Then in the duodenum, we have studied trypsin was there for digestion of protein, and lipase was there, which digests fats. And then we also studied that amylase is also present there, which digests starch. Okay, question number 5. How is small intestine designed to absorb digested food? So I said absorption is simply a process that is called diffusion. But for diffusion, the surface area, diffusion is a function of surface area. Larger the surface area, more will be diffusion. Lesser the surface area, less will be diffusion. So if the intestine length is, which is about 6 meter length के ऊपर अगर अपन सोचेंगे कि normal process में digestion absorption हो जाए, so it will take several days in order to complete the absorption mainly by diffusion. So either we have to increase the number of days or time, or we have to increase the surface area. So surface area is increased by large number of finger-like projections, which increases the surface area. If I talk about अगर मैं ये मेरा हाथ है, ठीक है, मैं कोई वो बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ ये मेरा हाथ है और ये मेरा वो, चलिए ये मेरा हाथ है, इस हाथ को मैं एक पेंट के अंदर डुबो देता हूँ, ठीक है, 1 लीटर पेंट के अंदर डुबोऊंगा तो which all part will be painted? This part. Why it is absorb में ये कह सकता हूँ absorb तो नहीं है, it is imbibition, कुछ पेंट इसके ऊपर लग गया, लेकिन you consider it as a absorption, इतना पेंट इसने absorb कर लिया मेरे हाथ. Now I open all my fingers. So this part, and this part, which was not previously available for paint, now that will also be available. So the absorption will be more, no? So as you increase the surface area, that many absorption will be increased. So while teaching that time, I said I had taken the examples of the towel. The towel have fine fibers which are projecting out. That has increased the surface area to greater time. Similarly, our villi and microvilli, which are found in the entire length of the intestine, they increase the surface area of intestine up to several hundreds, or even up to 1,000 times. Okay, so that's all for the questions for now. In the next class, we will start respiration. Children, if you got any problem, you can even write on the comment box there. Otherwise, this week we don't have. Next week onwards, we'll have a doubt class, and there also you can ask. Do ask your problems if you got any. And पढ़ेंगे तो होगी, नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो किसका प्रॉब्लम। पढ़ना और पढ़े रहना दोनों में फर्क है, तो डिसाइड आपको करना है whether you have to पढ़ना और you have to पढ़े रहना। ठीक है, लाइफ तो दोनों में चलेगी। थैंक यू, गुड डे। Good day, children. Enjoy your day. Keep studying and keep yourself safe. That is the most important thing. अगर हम बच्चे रहेंगे तो हम बाकी चीजें बाद में भी कर लेंगे। अगर बच्चे ही नहीं रहेंगे तो फिर मतलब नहीं। So सबसे important चीज है that is you have to save yourself from all the things which are going outside. And I said virus, उनका खुद का तो कुछ है ही नहीं, वो तो लूट मार करने आएंगे। तो हमको वो लूट मार थोड़ी, जैसे एक छोटा सा आदमी जो होटल चलाता है, जो कोई दुकान चलाता है, he also know how to protect himself। ठीक है, तो हमको तो अपना बॉडी को पूरे को प्रोटेक्ट करना है। So you know children how it has to be done. Please stay at home. If you are going out, पहली बात तो try to avoid. If you are getting from anything from outside, you don't know the person who is carrying, who is bringing the thing, वो contaminated है कि नहीं। So better thing कि आप उसको 10 मिनट के लिए धूप में रख दें, अच्छा बढ़िया वाली धूप में। If sun is not there and if the thing can be kept in the microwave, edible thing है, और माइक्रोवेव में रख सकते हैं 5 मिनट के लिए, 2 मिनट के लिए, जितना भी है, depending on the type and quality of the food, you can keep it in the microwave. I am not telling you कि आप अपना चॉकलेट एंड केक बेक करके रख दें तो पिघल जाएंगे, है ना। तो और डिपेंडिंग, आइसक्रीम वगैरह कुछ ना रखें, लेकिन जो भी है, जैसे खाना मंगाया, पिज्जा मंगाया, तो इट कैन बी इजीली माइक्रोवेव्ड, so they will kill if there is any germs by touching items. So they says कि it is मतलब not touched by human hand once it is cooked and removed. कुकिंग से पहले तो करना ही पड़ेगा, ठीक है। तो ठीक है, भरोसा भी ज्यादा अच्छा नहीं है आज की तारीख में, थोड़ा सा अपना बचाव कर लेंगे तो अच्छा है। And then whenever you are touching anything, please wash your hands with the soap thoroughly up to the pores of the finger, inside the finger, up to here, ठीक है। And if not, मैं देखता हूँ बच्चों को सैनिटाइजर कैसे यूज करते हैं, 3 ड्रॉप हो गया। ये that is not even sufficient for your palm to get wet. Take enough so that each part, again, now sanitizer can only dissolve the proteins and make the virus inactive। ठीक है, आपको इतना करना है कि वो अच्छे से लें, थोड़ा कंजूसी ना करें। जिंदगी रहेगी तो खूब पैसा आएगा हमारे पास, और नहीं रहेगी तो फिर क्या फायदा, जो करोड़ों की कमाए, कोई फायदा नहीं रहेगा। ठीक है, गुड डे चिल्ड्रन। मैं तो ऐसे ही थोड़ा ज्यादा बातें करता हूँ।